This is the Nightwolf howling at you, and today we're going to take a look at the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1988 Remastered Raphael, part of the 40th anniversary line of remastered Ninja Turtle figures, with all new articulation and deco. And by deco, they mean we gave the textured skin. As we look on the side, we just have a little note about classic 1988 styling, and now with 13 points of articulation, bonus weapons, and customizable display case. Raphael is one of the two turtles that got really stupid looking weapons, though, as bonuses. On the other side, we just see that you can combine all the bases together to form one scene. And on the back, we just get a picture of all four of the Ninja Turtles. It's 1988 again, only better. Collect all your favorite classic-style Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, now remastered with super articulation and detailed deco. Kind of like I said before, I don't think 13 points of articulation is exactly super articulated, and not even really up to the modern standards, to be perfectly honest. But at the same time, these figures were also only $12.95, so I'm not going to complain because, they were less than 15 bucks. And nowadays, the average action figure is $20 for Motu and 25 for GI Joe. And then McFarlane's all over the place depending upon what size the box is. But that's a whole separate story. Anyway, let's open this sucker up. Let's start off by taking a look at the base here. Same base that we got with Michelangelo. The only difference is we get two different attachments. The top of a ladder for like a fire escape, which obviously you'd put over the side. And for whatever, they did not design it to actually fit all the way to the tabletop, whatever you've got it on. It just kind of hangs there, basically the thickness of the base here. So it looks like it was designed to be the same height as this. For some reason, as if like you would put it like here for whatever reason. It's kind of what it looks like it was designed for. That's stupid. So we'll just put it back that way because you're not going to have a ladder just sticking out the top of the roof. Then we get a little chimney stack. I don't know, do like the chimneys in New York have like a little access point at the top like that? Once again, like with the Michelangelo one, this does not have anything to hold it in place anywhere. You just set it up there. And unfortunately, unlike the Michelangelo one, you can't even really fit it on top of this little circle thing there to mildly hold it in place. And that's kind of dumb too, in my opinion. It would have been nice if they'd had like pegs in there that you could have stuck this on. So that's our base. Let's take a look at our weapons. The Sai have been redesigned from the original versions from the 80s, which look like this. The plastic is a very heavy-duty plastic, and it's actually very much rounded on the Sai, making it more like an actual Sai rather than the kind of bladed thing that they gave us in Ninja Turtles. However, the forks do not really sit quite right still. Something I think they've gotten wrong on almost every single Sai that they've made in Playmates, I feel like. In case you're wondering, this is the secondary Sai design that they did. I don't know if you can see this, but the base there of the blade is actually a little bit thicker Kind of has like almost like they have something going around the base and the handle. Because the original release of the Sai was very much a straight on thing, did not have any kind of extra thickness, and broke off very easily, kind of like Mikey's nunchucks broke. So that's our first item of fun. We got once again the push daggers, which, aside from the coloring, are look to be the same piece almost. Oh, actually, looking at it right now, the handle is actually thinner on the new one. The lines on the handle there and right here. So I honestly thought previously that these were remolded because even the striping on the handles kind of looks the same to me. Although it could be thrown off a bit by the black paint, but they actually might be a new sculpt. And then we have this little beauty, which I think is actually kind of dumb too, but it's another kind of push blade with a black end handle. And yeah, I guess there's subtle differences between those two as well. Although this could also be literally from just the issue you have when you remold stuff from previous ones. And last but not least, for the old equipment, we have the throwing stars, which, oh, actually do look like stars. Oops. As you can see, which, I just realized that throwing stars generally don't have that shape. So, and I managed to lose the silver one. That's kind of sad. And last but not least, we have what looks like a double hammer. This feels like one of the most impractically designed weapons ever. I know people have fought with hammers in battle, and I've seen images of battle hammers previously. They don't look like this. This is just kind of stupid looking. Not quite as bad as I believe the weapon with Leonardo's is, but Tell me what you think about this one in the comments, please, because it just it looks terrible. As for our Ninja Turtle himself, we have Raphael. Interesting to note, he does have the little thing on the back to actually put that dagger, which was always kind of interesting to me. Same thing with the original toy, though I don't have the belt, as I mentioned during the Mikey review. Articulation-wise, however, we have a ball joint at the head. It allows him to look up a little bit, down a little bit, and we can get a little bit straight on. We can spin it in a 360. However, if you try to get him to kind of look downward when you have his head towards the side, it does not work. You can, however, get a little bit of an upward look to it, but not down. So you can only look down in the front and not even in the back, just the front. I'm kind of tempted to pop the head off just to see what that ball joint looks like. Ah, that is the biggest ball joint I have ever seen. He's barely got a neck. So yeah, that is definitely a redesign from previously. Where actually I think the turtles' heads were actually just on a swivel. Some of them were rubber and some of them were hard plastic, if I remember correctly. So we, kind of like Masters of the Universe figures were. We can hinge up and down on the shoulder, and we can spin it all around. We have a spin at the elbow and a hinge, which gives us less than 90 degrees. No waist articulation, no waist crunch, which I realize is going to be harder with the shell. The shell would have to be a separate piece in order to do either one of those. and they just did the whole body with the shell as part of it. We can kick forward like that, but the leg does have to spread out a little bit. We can spin a little bit at the hip. So this is instead of like a thigh swivel. Sigh. So, I can't talk. Anyway, so we get up and back. If we want to try to make him look like he's kicking outward, we actually have to modify the positioning of the thighs. But we can get him to kind of do this, which I guess can translate to, if we do it right, the splits. But that is very awkward. And that is a lot of maneuvering of those legs. We have a bend at the knee. It does just about a 90, not quite a 90. We can go forward a little bit, however, with it. And the kneecap or the knee pad is designed to allow you to have that maneuverability. So this is quite straight-legged for him. Straight-legged. And so we have that and that. And then we get to the foot where they just gave us a spin. And no rocker at all, which is honestly kind of sad with these ones because that would have helped with posing. He has 2 spots in the front to hold his sai. What's funny is that they're still designed for the original sai, because you can see how it does definitely fill in better than the newer version does, but the newer version still holds in place, probably just because it's a tight fit. So overall, not a bad look for the figure. Let's go ahead and put his, try to get his sai in his hand there. Now, as always with these figures, I do want to test to see if he can hold it with the fingers on the... Oh, sorry. Like, it's almost working. There we go. Oh yeah, can't forget, we do have a wrist swivel, but there is not a hinge on the wrist. If there was, because we can actually get him to kind of hold this way, which is one of the ways of holding a sai, especially if you're trying to punch it into something or someone. But the hand's positioning is such that it doesn't quite look right, which is kind of a shame. But at least unlike previous versions that we've seen, like the Super 7 one, he can in fact somewhat hold it in that manner. The third position for a sai sometimes is probably not doable on this figure. And this is where you just have one, well, technically on a human it would be 2 fingers. You have like these 2 fingers inside the grip and these ones on the grip. That's what allows you to spin it in those fancy manners. As a quick comparison, I do have my original toy from the late 80s. Unfortunately, and actually this might be a reissue because I'm pretty sure the first Turtles had rubber heads. And sadly, my Raphael broke literally when I grabbed him to do this review. So the new one does have a flatter color scheme to it. The red's a little bit duller. Although the pads do look better on the new one than on the old one. They definitely look more like pads than the previous ones did. They have the open mouth the same way, a little better detailed, however. Of course, there's the obvious pop marks in the skin to get the texture. The shells are different designs as well, like with Michelangelo, because they're all sharing the same body. It is a more textured shell uh, than the previous ones. And I want to say this kind of styling actually came from the live action movie in the, was it in 1990 that it came out? Which was an excellent movie. You should watch it if you have not. So overall, I'm going to have to buy myself another Raphael figure. Too bad this didn't happen before I went to the toy show over the weekend. So anyway, I think that will conclude our look at the remastered Raphael. I would kind of like to know if you are interested in buying these ones. Again, when I found them, it was only $12.95 at Walmart, making it one of the more affordable action figures currently on the market. I think it's worth the money. Oh, you know what? We didn't put any of his other weapons in his hands. So also, when you're watching this, when you edit it, make sure to put this further in the front when you're talking about the weapons and stuff. So Raphael can also hold the weapons. It's kind of nice. We can actually slide the throwing star in between his fingers, which I'm assuming is the reason why they split them as wide as they did, so just having them be a solid part. The two daggers just slide into his hands. Like so. To a certain extent, you would almost think that if they'd given you two of these, that this was meant to help him climb. But, yeah, that's just for injuring people. Or mutants in this case. But now we get down to the real winner of the weaponry lottery. This thing. This is like the most impractical looking battle hammer design I've ever seen. I don't know why you would actually want to do that. Let's see if we can actually get him to hold it with two hands. Well, it bends quite a bit when you try to do that. But like seriously, this is just kind of a weird balance because it's like you're trying to make a bow staff with hammer tips. So unless there are like little thrusters on the back of this part where it looks like it's a hammer and that's used to drive the spike into things, it's kind of a stupid design. What do you guys think? Yay or nay? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to like, comment, and subscribe. Say hello to my little friend. Peace and love.